Imagine a country losing the population of a major city every year. This is Russia today. Russia is shrinking at an alarming rate. Over 1.2 million people could be lost in a single year. This isn't just a statistic, it's a hollowing out of a nation. The crisis has deep roots, but recent events have turned a slow decline into a free fall. The 2022 invasion of Ukraine triggered a mass exodus of young, skilled Russians. Hundreds of thousands fled, taking their futures with them. Meanwhile, the war has claimed tens of thousands of young men, lives and futures lost. The numbers tell a chilling story. Russia is aging and shrinking. Rosstat projects the population could fall from 146 million to 130 million by 2046, a loss of 16 million. The fertility rate remains low, around 1.5 children per woman, far below what's needed to sustain the population. State incentives for childbirth have barely made a dent. People don't have children when the future looks bleak. This demographic winter means a shrinking workforce, fewer conscripts, and a less dynamic economy. The Kremlin projects strength, but behind the facade, the nation is quietly vanishing. The numbers don't lie. They reveal a country caught in a demographic spiral. Russia's survival isn't just about military might. It's about simple, brutal arithmetic. The question is stark. When the people disappear, what is left of the nation? The story is about existence itself. The demographic collapse is accelerating, not slowing. The war has made a bad situation catastrophic. The future of Russia hinges on whether it can reverse this decline. Right now, the numbers point to a nation in retreat. The Kremlin claims economic resilience, but the reality is a war economy on shaky ground. Official GDP figures mask deep rot. Soaring inflation and a collapsing ruble tell the real story. In 2023, inflation hit 7.5%, but food prices soared over 30%. The ruble's value plummeted, making imports expensive and eroding purchasing power. The central bank hiked interest rates to 16%, a desperate move that stifles investment and growth. Western sanctions are a slow-acting poison, cutting Russia off from key technologies. The country is forced to rely on outdated equipment or Chinese imports, setting back development by decades. The economy is now overwhelmingly dependent on state and military spending. In 2024, military spending will consume nearly a third of the federal budget, the highest since the Soviet era. Factories are busy, but they're producing tanks, not consumer goods. This is not real growth, it's a diversion of resources toward destruction. When the war ends, these factories and workers face an uncertain future. The war economy is a dead end, a sugar high followed by a crash. The structure of the economy is now a major vulnerability. Sanctions and war spending are hollowing out Russia's future. The illusion of stability is cracking. The real cost will be paid for years to come. In 2024, Russia allocated a record $118 billion to its military, about a third of all government spending. Every third ruble now funds the war, draining resources from healthcare, education, and infrastructure. Social programs stagnate or are cut, while the defense budget soars. The National Wealth Fund has been depleted, with liquid assets dropping from $170 billion to $55 billion. The government is burning through savings and borrowing heavily. The state is squeezing the economy, considering tax hikes that could further stifle growth. Entire regions now depend on defense contracts. The economy is hooked on war. If the war stops, mass unemployment and social unrest could follow. The war budget creates a dangerous dependency. Prolonging conflict becomes an economic incentive. The war is now the engine of the economy, but it's driving Russia toward a fiscal cliff. The promise of a better life has been replaced by sacrifice for the state. The future is being mortgaged for military adventure. Russia's economic model is now built on sand. Russia's demographic crisis is a national obituary written in advance. Deaths have outpaced births for decades. The Russian cross has returned with a vengeance. In 2023, natural population decline topped 600,000, not counting war losses or emigration. The war in Ukraine has stolen the lives of young men, the very group needed to build families. Each soldier lost is a phantom of future generations. Public health is dire, especially for men. Life expectancy lags far behind Europe. Alcoholism, disease, and now war trauma drive mortality even higher. State incentives for childbirth are cosmetic, failing to address root causes like economic insecurity and hopelessness. People have children when they feel safe and optimistic, feelings in short supply. The war is stealing Russia's future, one generation at a time. When war began, Russia's future fled. over 1 million young, educated and skilled people left. The tech sector was gutted, entire companies relocated abroad. At least 100,000 IT specialists left in 2022 alone. This brain drain cripples Russia's ability to innovate and compete globally. Many fled to escape mobilization, repression, or professional isolation. The state calls them traitors, but their loss is generational. Networks, ideas, and culture have vanished with them. The society left behind is older, more conservative, and more isolated. Hardliners gain power as the globally minded depart. The regime is purifying the nation, but in doing so, it's lobotomizing it. The future is one of stagnation and decline. Russia's brightest have chosen exile over a cage. The Kremlin's image of control was shattered by the 2023 Wagner mutiny. For a day, mercenaries marched toward Moscow, exposing the regime's weakness. The mutiny revealed deep fissures among Russia's elite, competing factions, private armies, and bitter rivalries. The war has intensified these power struggles. Putin's system, built on balancing clans, is now unstable. Governance suffers as elites focus on infighting and loyalty tests. Decision-making is paralyzed by fear and suspicion. The system can execute orders, but can't adapt or solve complex problems. Succession is the ultimate instability. There's no clear path after Putin. Power is personalized. Institutions are hollowed out. The question of after Putin hangs over Russia like a storm cloud. A post-Putin power struggle could fracture the country. The stability of the Putin era is a mirage, masking profound future instability. The war is fought not just in Ukraine, but in the minds and homes of Russians. Propaganda pushes patriotism, but reality seeps through. Funerals, rising prices, and social media pleas. Social problems are rising. Domestic violence, alcohol abuse, and PTSD among returning soldiers. The state offers medals, not real support. Fear and suspicion corrode trust. Denunciation is encouraged. Many retreat into private life, tuning out politics to survive. This apathy provides short-term stability, but it's a fragile foundation. A society that has lost its sense of shared purpose is brittle and vulnerable. Russia is a patchwork of regions and ethnic republics, held together by subsidies and coercion. The war's burden falls hardest on poorer, minority regions, fueling resentment and a sense of colonial exploitation. Local activists document the unequal sacrifice, even as protest is suppressed. The war sharpens ethnic and regional identities, weakening the sense of unity. Moscow's ability to buy loyalty is eroding as war spending drains the budget. Economic divergence grows. Some regions boom, others stagnate. The longer the war drags on, the weaker the center's grip becomes. Security forces are bogged down, elites are distracted. Regional actors may push for more autonomy. Collapse is unlikely soon, but the seeds of future conflict are sown. The war to rebuild an empire may be what finally dissolves it. The numbers paint a bleak picture: shrinking population, hollowed economy, a society under stress, and a brittle political system. One scenario: slow decline. The war freezes, Russia becomes isolated, dependent on China, and continues to age and shrink. Another: collapse. Military defeat, economic shock, or a chaotic succession could fracture the country into competing regions. A third hopeful path requires radical change: ending the war, rebuilding institutions, investing in people, and welcoming back exiles. This seems almost impossible under the current regime. The numbers are a warning, not a prophecy. Survival is not guaranteed. Nations can fail. The future of Russia is unwritten, but the statistics provide a chilling first draft. In trying to reclaim lost glory, Russia is sacrificing its own future. The most brutal number is the one not yet known: the final cost of this historic mistake. That cost will be paid by generations to come. The question remains: can Russia change course before it's too late? The answer lies in the numbers and in the choices yet to be made.